Okay, here we are again. Ready to head into the first floor of the tower. We've gotten through a bunch of different tutorials and gotten a lot of information from Uncle Def. Now let's continue. Mastery level. I knew this was coming up soon. If you defeat lots of enemies with a specific type of weapon, your mastery level with that weapon will go up. The maximum level is 20, and you will unlock sub-moves that you can use with L1 and R1, as well as new attacks and skill boosts. Acquiring ABP. ABP, ability points, will be awarded to the weapon which dealt the final damage in defeating an enemy. Once you accumulate a set number of points, your mastery level will increase. Mastery level is not dependent on fighter. The mastery level and ability points acquired are shared between fighters. Even if you switch to a low level fighter, you will still be able to deal attacks corresponding to your mastery level. So the game has a lot of roleplay elements. It seems to be roguelike, but there are multiple ways of gaining permanent progress in the game, which will strengthen you, strengthen your position in the game permanently. One of those things obviously would be to raise your character level by gaining experience. Another one is the mastery level of weapons. So by defeating enemies, we'll gain mastery, and the weapons themselves will level up, gain more abilities, do more damage, and then some. So here's a new enemy type. Take you out. Okay, a lot of information here. It says you can level up at the waiting room. That's because we just got our first experience. And mastery level has increased because we've defeated an enemy using the hammer. The hammer has gained mastery. Also, we've picked up some kill coins. Every enemy you defeat in the game will drop kill coins. Squish. Okay, so especially early on, it's important to discover everything you can about the game. Fill up your collections. One of those collections would be the beasts and mushrooms. Now, the beasts, you usually just have to crouch around and grab them. Sometimes you'll have to stomp on them to weaken them. And mushrooms, you'll find lying around in the levels, but also every beast has their own type of mushroom. So I'll be picking up a beast, and then I'll probably be killing the next of that type that I come across to fill up the mushroom book. So now that I've got a couple of different mushrooms, if you go over the touchscreen on PS4 controller ever so lightly, you can browse your different mushrooms and beasts. Now, it takes some getting used to, but after a while, it's really a pretty well implemented function. Another new weapon, the fireworks launcher. Now, we haven't found any new blueprints yet. We've found a couple of different weapons though. Stamps. There's always one stamp station on each level of the Tower of Barbs. You can stamp each one once into the stamp section of the Underworld Rolodex. It's possible to climb the tower without stamping, but you'll receive some rewards if you do. Pressing stamps. Once you access the stamp station, a stamp minigame will begin. Press X with good timing to press in the falling stamps. Okay. So these are another, well, these are one of the forms of collectibles in the game. Let's give it a shot.
3, 2, 1.
Alright, nailed it. So these get more difficult as time goes by. I'm not sure if they're going to give me a tutorial on it, but I'll explain it anyway. Let's see. So in the Underworld Rolodex, where would it be? Picture book? No. Collection? The stamp rally, yeah. So it's in your collections in the Underworld Rolodex under stamp rally, and you select this, and then you open up the stamp rally page. Now you can scroll using up and down on the right analog stick. It's basically a comic book representation, a poster picture of the Tower of Barbs. Now it'll show you only up to how far you've progressed in the game. At this point they'll show you the first 10, well, the first 9 stamps. So we'll see from floor 1 to 10 empty spaces where you'll have to find a stamp machine. Now we've got 1 stamp already, and it's on the first spot of the stamp rally page. Now the stamps are guaranteed to be on the number of floors that is the number of spaces far. So the stamp we've stamped in is on space 1, and we're also on floor 1. So the next stamp will be found on floor 2. And if you check the map by pressing down on the arrows, you'll see where first floor, ikegara. Now if we go up a floor, we'll be on floor 2. So on floor 2 we can expect another stamp machine. There we go. Now I finished the screamer off by using the iron weapon, the red hot iron. And it doesn't matter that I was using the hammer for most of the damage. The mastery you gain is judged by the weapon you finished them off with. So if I want to strengthen the red hot iron, I'll aim to get kills with the red hot iron. Now the game is very fast paced, but you'll find it's sometimes easier in combat to wait for enemies to make their move, and then instead of rushing in, wait for them to do their thing and then give a counter attack. So you can wait for them to attack and then get the spacing right and then hit them with a counter attack. There we go. Wow, these tubers are tough. I had no idea they did that much damage. Come on. There we go. Also, make sure to be wary of how much stamina you have left, because you'll be, once you're out of stamina, your character will have to recover breath for a moment. Now to heal up, Mostly you'll be looking for beasts. So when you see a beast, you're looking at a healing item. So we picked up a frog, flick through the available mushrooms. Eating a parasol shroom will not really do anything for me. It's a mushroom that's made for selling. Now, beast on the other hand will give me a decent health recovery. There we go. Here's another type of mushroom, fluffy fungus. That's a pretty good one to have. What it does, when thrown at an enemy, puts them into a state of sleep. Cool, we've got him groggied. That's like fantastic. You gain extra ability points for your weapon mastery, extra kill coins, and I believe also extra character experience for defeating enemies using Gore-tastic. You have little control over it, it just sometimes happens. Sometimes enemies enter the groggy state, and then you can finish them off with Gore-tastic. There we go. Now this streamer has dropped a piece of armor for us to pick up. And we can put it in the death bag or equip it straight away. And I'll equip it. Open this thing up. Here's a silver chest. This is the second level of rarity of chests. They start off being red, then you've got silver, and then after that you've got a gold level of chest, which are the rarest. These tend to give you more kill coins and have a good chance of spawning blueprints. Oh, frog in a chest. Oh, in a box, really. Alright. Gotta be careful here. This is a regular enemy. Now if you can sneak up on enemies and get behind them, you can do a suplex attack. And when they're on the ground, you can do a ground stomp. But I missed the opportunity to do that. It's all using the X button on the controller. There we go. Now even unarmed attacks have mastery. It's like a fist weapon. It's also really difficult to fully level its mastery because it gives a huge attack boost when it's fully leveled. So if you've got if you're not leveling the mastery on any weapons, I definitely recommend trying to defeat the enemies you come across using unarmed. But for now I think I want to keep increasing the mastery of the weapons I've got. Now off you go then. Okay, so I'm halfway through my my bag spaces. Don't have that much carry capacity on this fighter. Counter attack. You tend to get counterattacks when you catch an enemy during their attack animation. There's the screamer who ran away from us earlier. Still running. Also remember to sprint while it's L3 to crouch, it's also L3 to sprint. You're crouch pressing L3 while stationary, but while walking you press L3 to sprint. I don't know if they've put this in the tutorial yet. I'm not sure. Where are you going? Oh no, it's an ambush. Reloading. There we go. Elevator. The Tower of Barbs features not only escalators, but elevators also. Including the Directile Express Royal Elevator. There is also a system of rare sub-elevators that run only between certain floors of the tower. For more information on Directile Express, please read Barb's Bible Volume 20 about DH services. Getting on and off. When you discover an elevator in the tower, turn the power switch on to allow the elevator to stop at that floor. Once you have done this, you can just use kill coins and hop in the elevator anytime you wish to return to that floor. Using elevators to return to the waiting room and refresh yourself is probably a good idea if you want a pleasant climb to the summit. Royal Elevator. The Royal Elevator allows Directile Express members to ride for free. Please tell Miss Torai, the elevator attendant, which floor you wish to go to. Maybe the social contact will be a bright spot on your lonely adventure. Huh. Now, this is a very important thing. This is a big permanent progress in the game while you're climbing the tower. So you'll be climbing from floor to floor, and once you reach this elevator switch, you can start using this elevator, essentially making a checkpoint in the tower from which you can continue your climb. So now we've got this elevator, an interact button prompt comes up, and we can choose between the available floors, which for us is only the floor we're on right now, and basement 1, the waiting room, as you can see on the map as well. And let's have a look over here. Looks like we can continue onwards to the next floor, or we can go back to the waiting room. I think there's a couple of tutorials waiting for us when we continue to the waiting room, so I'll check that out first. When the beetle rolling the globe is on screen, the game data is being saved to the server. Return to waiting room. Interesting. Okay, so they'll probably explain what this thing is in a minute, but it looks like they're already prompting us to level up. So the main stats that I'd prioritize to level up first would be your HP. So you've got more, your character has more health and can take more hits of damage before dying. So there will be the HP. And then, depending on your preference of weapons, if you like range weapons, level up Dex. If you like melee weapons, level up Strength. I usually go with melee weapons, so I'm gonna put points into Strength to start off with. And on the right side of the screen you can see the points adding up as your character level increases. Okay, so here's the Deathmobile returned from Uncle Death. Now, we opened this one in one of the previous episodes, and it only now resets, but the time that you spent in the tower is reflected in the cooldown with the new Deathmobile. So it starts cooling down as you go up the tower, but you do have to go up the tower to get the new box to spawn in, so there's something to keep in mind. Now, this little palm tree beach setup is part of a special event that's going on now, a summertime event. And the remote control shark, those are also part of that event. Now there's a whole bunch of tutorials available again now. I think it's the second wave of tutorials, and probably the last wave of tutorials we'll see for the start of the game. Now, I think I'll go over these tutorials in the next episode, so I'll see you guys there.